was already claimed by Hetfield in terms of first place. He swept his 3 matches against these 2 opponents and also Odeon. But now it's actually coming down to this match to determine the remainder of the group. And there's a pretty good chance of some crazy stuff happening. But first, Sigma, why don't you just give us a quick reminder on these 2 runners, who they are, what we're expecting here.
All right, well, mrasmus has been around for a long time. He ran Ori back in the early days of Vanilla and kind of took a bit of a break and more recently came back to DE for the tournament. Rufus, on the other hand, is basically the opposite. He learned Ori in one of the 12-hour challenges, and yeah, that was long after Vanilla had ended and DE was in progress, so kind of have the new versus old, but since mrasmus hasn't been constantly active since Vanilla, their times are relatively close.
Indeed. And that, of course, is going to possibly cause some consternation for us, as we're going to see, depending on the results of this match, we're going to see either the bracket will stay exactly the way we expected already, or it will flip on its head and magic is going to happen. Currently, we are predicting that Rufus is going to take this match, and he will claim 2nd place in this group. Odeon will then take 3rd, and mrasmus will take 4th. They will have records of 2-1, 1-2, and 0-3, respectively. So it'll go normally. We won't have to worry about tiebreakers. But if mrasmus manages to pull off the upset here, and as Sigma just said, their PBs are pretty close, so calling it an upset is somewhat of a misnomer. But if he manages to pull that off, there's a lot of things that could change. Odie actually has a better average time than Rufus. So if Odie and Rufus tie, they would end up with a flip where Odeon would end up being the 2nd place finisher instead, and Rufus would end up being the 3rd place finisher. And as a result, that would completely change the face of the matchups in the bracket stage for a lot of the 2nd and 3rd seed groups. So that would be pretty crazy. You never know exactly what we're going to see. Otherwise, if Rufus manages to pull off the win, we're not expecting too much of a shift in who they're going to face and so on. But, I mean, it's Ori.
Yeah, somebody could be more prepared, more ready for the race, and then they can just die twice the front you walk, and it's like, well, I guess you lose.
God, I do not want to see that again.
I hope we never see that again either.
So, of course, right now you guys are seeing a bunch of stats up on the screen. We've got the projections for what seeds these runners are expecting to get. Rufus is looking to be in the 18th seed, and he would be going against me, actually, in the round of 32. mrasmus will actually be expecting to face the pre-elimination round, in which he will need to face off against Fant, who is the 32nd seed. And the winner of that match would have the dubious honor of getting to face Hetfield in the round of 32. So I don't think either of them wants that. Otherwise, just some cool stuff on here for you guys to digest. But I think we're going to go ahead and try to get the race started ASAP. So let's just make sure that they're good to go.
Yeah, it looks like the runners are ready, so we should be underway shortly. Once,
Indeed.
The internet sends us the data of their streams.
Yep. So the SRL race timer is going, and we will get started shortly. Sigma, why don't you tell me real quick, who do you think is going to win this match?
I just have to go with logic, the better PB, and say Rufus is probably going to win. But I always hope for a very close race. I want to see Dunham, who's restreaming this one, have to work hard and continually switch the audio as the lead changes back and forth.
All right, I'm going to take a slightly different tack, and I think mrasmus is going to somehow pull this off, but we're going to see. Just a quick note that these 2 runners both have had time restrictions in terms of when they've been able to get their races in. Rufus actually got his first 2 races in back on the 18th, and he has not raced in the tournament since then. I believe he has improved his PB some, so he has been working on the game, but he hasn't done a tournament race since that point. You wonder maybe that has some sort of effect. Maybe he might not feel as ready, or might just have a little bit of nerves here.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens, that's for sure.
Both runners getting through the Rhino there, as they are approaching the Spirit Flame at the beginning of the game. No real time difference so far. I saw that Rufus kind of bonked his head on the ceiling, but that set him back maybe half a second at most. So not a huge deal yet. Neither runner opting for the color code. They're both going with the default, which I don't know about.
You know, we're gonna butt heads about this one, but I just hate that color code. It gives you dark colors all the time, and it's just the worst. You can't see anything when you're jumping down to wall jump. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, we don't have to agree to disagree when you're wrong. Like,
oh, I see how it is. I see how it is. Mr. Lucky Guy getting pink and magenta all the time.
So they both came out of the Frankie fight. Rasmus having a slightly better time of it, and he also took 1 damage from the Bramble, whereas Rufus got the frame perfect jump. So just slight differences in their early gameplay here. Rufus getting a little bit trolled by that drop animation, takes another damage there. So both of the runners should be on 2 HP right now. I didn't see any health pickups for either of them. Oh, there's one for Rasmus.
Yeah. A little bit of trouble pulling the rock, and suddenly, just like that, we're tied again.
Indeed. That is the story of the early game here. And both runners, of course, taking very, very great care to make sure that their health and XP are going to be where they need, but particularly the health right now as they're coming up on the Ghost Door. I think Rufus has 2 and Rasmus has 1 here?
Looks like they both managed to make it down to 1, so very close race. We'll see them both go up and grab the 4th health cell here. Definitely pretty nuts not to get this 4th health cell in a race, because it doesn't take very long to get, 8 seconds, and provides you a lot of extra safety throughout the run. So let's make a quick detour to grab that and be heading on down to wall jump.
Indeed, and I think Rufus possibly, I'm not sure if he's abandoned this strategy or not. We had a questionnaire back at the beginning of the tournament where we asked runners to tell us how many HP they were going to take. And in some cases, the answers changed, but Rufus did tell us initially that he was going to take 5 health, not energy. But I don't know if he's changed that up. Each health cell generally takes around 8 seconds to detour and get, but of course adds a ton of safety to your run. So, you know, only a few runners have been taking that 5th health, but it does help a lot.
Yeah, I saw something interesting from Rasmus there. He actually skipped the 5 flower and the elbow on the way down, and I had to slow down actually and get some experience. I thought he was fine to level up on the way out, and I thought maybe he was trying to level up on the way out, but I don't know, that was weird. Maybe just missed the jump or something.
It does look like he will be taking the level up on the way out, as he didn't get it on the way in, and Rufus got a little bit trolled by an energy drop, I believe, the animation of the first pickup of one of those. So he just lost like a second and a half there to put him slightly behind Rasmus. But otherwise, this is a very even race so far. Both runners have been pretty good. They haven't had any of the early nerves and definitely avoided taking a death, which is the big thing.
Yeah, it's always, you know, a sigh of relief when you get to wall jump, because now your deaths are not quite going to be a minute long unless you do something silly like run into the brambles in front of Blackroot. And because I said that, I really hope nobody does that.
Oh no!
Oh no! Now this log's swinging. Okay. Oh no!
He's getting Trojan logged. It's the worst. This is the worst thing. Oh goodness!
Okay.
So several seconds of time lost there for Rasmus as he just got that log swinging. Rufus kind of riding a dangerous line here. He took a little bit of extra damage on his boost through the elbow there.
Yeah, I think he still has 2 health. Nice manip to shoot that slime, not have to turn back on the dodge. We'll see how Rasmus does it. He's gonna do the. He's gonna do the hit strat.
All right.
Rufus stops to get a health cell. Not cell, but health drop. I wonder if he was actually down to 1 there, and in which case I really respect going for that shot manip on the slime.
Oh goodness!
Okay,
Rasmus very nearly. Yeah, Rasmus managed to avoid them barely, and he also picked up that same health pickup. So both of them taking a little bit safe here. Never a bad play. I think they both know who their opponent is, and that's not like a Hetfield type situation where you need to be going for everything possible. So both of them are just doing what is going to get them through without dying.
Yeah, Rufus took the save on the Spirit Well. I didn't actually see if Rasmus did, but he's at full health, so he either did or he got some mad health drops. I think he must have taken the save, because I thought he took damage coming in, but now we're heading through Blackroot. This area is pretty much locked on cycles. Each cycle, much like health cells, takes about 8 seconds. So Rasmus could swing into the lead if Rufus drops the cycle and Rasmus gets the fast one, but I think both these guys will be able to get the fast cycle here pretty cleanly.
Indeed. I think that that I completely just lost my train of thought, but we're going to watch them cross the horrifying pit of despair now.
Oh my gosh, this is terrifying.
Yeah, a little bit of damage for both of them. Rasmus is falling into the spike pit, but he dodges the projectile. Rufus gets through the lasers. Oh no! So Rasmus took a death to the first laser there, unfortunately, and he takes another hit from the projectile, but gets on the platform.
I can't believe he managed to jump back to that platform as it was rising. That was madness.
Oh goodness! But he does make it through the lasers this time safely. So wow, what a harrowing adventure
I can't
for Rasmus.
fault him for that laser death, because if he were to wait for that laser there, he would definitely drop a cycle. So you really want to get ahead of that laser, and then you can wait for the next one, get the same cycle. But it's a painful death to take. I can understand why you go for it though.
Yeah, it's exactly the kind of thing where your eyes get a little bit, wide, and you're like, oh my goodness, I need to get back on this cycle, and you just kind of try to cut it the closest you can, and unfortunately, sometimes you take a death there.
Yeah, no problems from Rufus though, so a nice black root from him. I mean, the bottom was scary, but the bottom is always terrifying. And, it doesn't matter if you're taking a bunch of damage there as long as you're not dying, because you're stuck on these platform cycles anyways, so as long as you make the cycle, which you did, everything's a-okay.
Rasmus is coming up to the switch. He's opting to drop the orb on the moving platform, which is just a little bit scary when you are not quite, you're not quite Hetfield level confidence in your play. Sometimes that can be a little bit scary, but no problem for him. He didn't show any signs of really lacking confidence in his movement there.
Yeah, Rufus did the same drop there, so both the guys going for that little half-second time save / 40-second time risk. It's not that hard to do, but it's just, as William said, quite scary. I did it, when I started doing it, I was absolutely terrified that I would die for like a week doing runs.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. The first time I did it, it was fun.
Easy every time. Rufus had a little bit of trouble with dash gliding, like right at the dash tree. He missed 2, but then he gets the one over the slow zone, so he got his 2 bad dash glides out of the way, and now he's in the clear. He did take a hit from the slime going up from the jump pad though, so he's probably down to 2 health here, and he'll have to be a little careful about how he takes these spikes in the Frankie walk. He's too far right. They will do 2 and bring him back to the dash tree in a sad way.
Indeed. So we're going to see if he's going to be able to avoid that right here. Oh no! He does take the death. He did not take the safety save at the spirit well either, so he's back to dash tree, and he misses the dash glide across as well. So an unfortunate turn of events for Rufus. It turned what was around a 21-second deficit at dash for Rasmus into a very significant lead. Rasmus also taking the 2 damage from the spikes, but fortunately he had his full health, or at least his 3 health, so he was able to make it.
And yeah, Rufus had more trouble with the pit too, so he fell down, tried to ride the platforms up, then rushed it a bit and fell down again and died, then went back to the dash tree, so that's a lot of trouble. But Rasmus just has to make it under this Frankie, and it'll be pretty clear to get through the death run. Rufus having to start the Frankie walk again. I didn't see how much damage he took that time. I'm not sure if he got hit again and he's gonna have to be careful of these spikes, or if he's at 3 health.
You definitely always want to, if you can, avoid taking the 2 damage anyway. It's a generally good practice, but you have that. Okay, he does take a short hop that time, and he's able to avoid the extra damage. So good on him to make that adjustment. Unfortunately, it comes at a big time cost, but wow, we're seeing Rasmus go for the early grotto cycle there. And
that was actually very close. He just barely missed the position at the end. The movement was perfect for it, so nearly getting the grotto cycle. Nice. Guess what? 8-second save. But not quite.
Everything does seem to be approximately 8 seconds. Rufus picking up a little bit of health in the death run there, so that'll help him just a tiny bit, with his confidence, although it doesn't usually matter too much here. Looking like around a minute deficit now for him. Something like that. I forget exactly how much time everything takes at this point.
Yeah, Rasmus eats a Frankie, but that's actually not that bad of a death. Looks like it's a fair distance, but you're dashing most of the way, so it's not too bad. At this point, you get a lot of saves, so you don't have the kind of catastrophic deaths that Rufus took in the Frankie Walk anymore, for a little while at least. So that's a kind of another sigh of relief now that we've made it to double jump for Rasmus.
Indeed. And he does opt for the blind movement with the camera frozen in place.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, Rufus nearly got crushed and then ate a spider shot in the face when he went to Ghost Door and then couldn't die on the Ghost Door and just decided to go through normally. But
that's actually going to leave him at 1 health here.
Yeah, that's okay though. He's not going to get hit. He's the best. Alright, easy.
He does make it through. So yeah, we are looking at still around a 1 minute deficit.
Oh, but his save is on cooldown. Okay, so normally when you die, that forces your save to instantly come off cooldown, but he didn't actually die on his Ghost Door, so the save's still on cooldown, and he didn't place a save at double jump, so we'll see if he remembers to level Rekindle instead of trying to rekindle a save at the next cutscene skip. Rasmus is coming up to it now. He has Rekindle though, so he's just going to place the save, Rekindle, reload like that, but Rufus at that point is going to have to open the ability tree and level it.
As a quick note, Rasmus in his previous races had been money on Grotto Skip. He had gotten it first try both times. This time, he did not have that initial success, but he did get it on, I think, around second or third try. So still very good for him. And we're going to see if Rufus is able to pull it off. Oh, goodness, the log is swinging all over the place, but he still gets it on the first attempt. Very good job by him.
That's so hard to do when the log is doing that, man. Okay, yeah. Alright, he levels Rekindle and then steps in Rekindles. That'll work. So he did remember. He didn't have to, like, sit there and... Uh-oh. I hope that save is close enough.
It should be fine. Yeah, he's fine this time. He just probably wasn't expecting that he hadn't learned the ability in the right place. So he does get his cutscene skip there. It actually is probably technically slower than if he had just done the rockfall with those failures, but it's definitely a lot easier than to do it without rocks than with. We did also get an update from the truck that the deficit was around 35 seconds at double jump, not a full minute. It may be up to around 40 at this point with those mistakes, but still pretty much within reach.
Yeah, Rasmus had a pretty nice grotto. He'll be going to Ginso shortly. They're really not far apart. Okay, Rufus is going to go grab the 5th health cell here. These jumps are pretty tricky, and nice job for him.
I've never seen someone climb up the left side like that.
Really cool. I didn't know you could do it like that. I always landed on the right platform for it, so.
That is fascinating. So Rufus now seems to be back on track. He's got his 5th health. I'm sure that will come in very handy, as it tends to do. Rasmus having a little bit of trouble getting that dash through the block. He opts not to take the safety save from the teleporter at Thornfeld Swamp. I wonder if he's going to just kind of... No, he is taking the damage boost from the slime, too. So he's probably entering Ginso at either 1 or 2 HP here.
Yo, no fear.
That is terrifying. I mean, I'm terrified to enter Ginso with 1 or 2 HP. Goodness.
Yeah, Rufus moving along. A little bit of trouble with the jump up to the cell, but he gets it 2nd try, so that's pretty good. Yeah, so Rasmus is, as you said, he's low health here, so he's got to be a little careful. A death can be pretty costly in these first few Ginso rooms, because while you can make some safety saves, he's going to make one at the end of the first room. That's normally people place it at the end of the 2nd room, but I mean, you might as well, right? Actually, you probably have energy to save in both places, come to think of it. Why don't we save there? Look, it's on cooldown already. You could save him whatever.
Yeah. Rufus coming into the Ginso tree entrance momentarily. He looks like he missed his rekindle for his cutscene skip here, and the correct backup strategy is just to watch it, as it is slower to retry it.
Yeah, and this has the added benefit of if you do die in Ginso, it doesn't mess up your camera. At least the camera's not trying to get pulled down into that cutscene when you respawn. Of course, you just don't want to die in Ginso, but you know.
Well, can't always get what we want, can we?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Rasmus is coming through the puzzle room now, and he is able to break his barriers there with no problems. So he's going to move into the mini-boss. Looks like he's going for kind of normal controller spam, basically, where he's just going to try to mash his shots out as quickly as possible. Try to get 8 shots per cycle if he can, but it's a lot harder to do that than it is to just get 6. and it looks like that's mostly what he's getting. Possibly an opportunity for Rufus to catch up a bit.
Yeah, he also missed the bottom right spawn there, so missing a few cycles on this mini boss, but it's not a big deal because he respawns pretty fast, especially when you miss a spawn. It's not like you're dropping the time for an entire cycle because the mini boss despawns quickly when you're not in position. So he finishes up the mini boss there. Rufus, I mean, he's only 2 rooms behind, so he's keeping up very well. It's basically just that Frankie walk dance that's put a deficit in, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he's starting to catch up a bit, or maybe I'm just overestimating the amount of time that the mini boss takes to kill.
Yeah, some of these rooms in Ginso, the amount of time they take just is a lot more than they actually seem like. So it can be, death there for Rasmus coming into the key door before Bash, but fortunately he had made a save in the previous seating room, so not a very costly death, but he definitely doesn't want to be dying right now and losing time at all. So possibly, just little things like that will open the window for Rufus to be able to get back into this.
Yeah, Rasmus coming into Bash. Rufus just finished the mini boss. I'd like to note that we've got Odie in the Twitch chat cheering Rasmus on madly because, well, Rasmus can't really help his position in the group with this race. He can help Odie's. Rufus with his cool dash glide into damage boost to pick up those keys. That's a neat strat. Actually, that kind of makes sense when you have 5 health too, because he can take this damage boost here as well. Now he's set up perfectly for Ghost Door at 1.
Indeed. I never actually thought of that particular aspect, but yeah, he gets his Ghost Door and he's coming into Bash as well. So I believe the deficit may be narrowing. We had a 50-second deficit at the time of Ginso entry, and we'll probably get an update shortly as I missed what Rasmus's Bash time was.
Yeah, if I had a memory slightly better than a goldfish, I might have been able to tell you, but I'm afraid that that's not happening.
I have heard that goldfishes have very good memories.
Yeah, I think that's actually, just a saying, but that they have 3-second memories or whatever. Oh, Rufus having a little trouble with the redirect. He didn't get the bottom thingy open, but now he does, so he'll be heading up. Rasmus gets his first pass of the key dupe off AOK and a rekindle, so that'll be nice. Rufus now starting his key dupe here. So they were only 30 seconds apart at Bash, so it looks like Rufus did manage to catch up a little bit, not dying through Ginso basically.
Ooh,
oh my gosh, that's such a cool damage boost.
Alright. I mean, he does have the 5 health, so he's got to burn it somehow, and that apparently is the way that he does. Each of these spikes deals 2 damage, and Rufus needs to damage down enough so that he can do Ghost Door, obviously. So I guess that's his method of doing it. That's pretty clever, actually.
Yeah, did you know that damage boost? Hetz actually started doing that. He double bashes the projectile and then just takes that damage boost instead of the one that you normally take at the start. It's pretty nice. So it's apparently faster to take that one, but like, it's spooky. Spooky as hell.
Why not? Rufus is actually coming into the second mini boss right after Rasmus left it, so I think he's keeping pace pretty well, possibly saving seconds here and there, just based on, if your PB is a 37:30 and your opponent's a 39:30, it just means there's going to be slight amounts of difference between your skill levels and your movement in different places. And I think Rufus is kind of taking advantage of those so far.
Yeah, Rasmus, he kind of took his time with the core skip there. Like, Rufus could make up some time here if he can get this core skip cleanly, because Rasmus had to chase the frog in. I think he was afraid of killing him outside and leveling too early. So let's see, Rufus is looking pretty good. He's taking an Okay.
Oh goodness, what is happening?
Don't get hit. Oh! Okay.
Alright, he's fine. We're fine. So Rufus coming into the escape now as well, very close behind Rasmus, as Rasmus is doing his escape here. He was waiting for the projectile from the spider, which unfortunately did not have the right angle, so he had to take the Mortar Worm's projectile instead. Does get that nice bash up onto the left wall there. Skips the jump pad because that thing is terrifying. And he's on a pretty good cycle here with these projectiles.
Yeah, we'll see. Looks like Rufus is missing the spider shot minute as well, so pretty similar escapes from them. Nice cycle from Rasmus up at the top. So I think he just dropped 1 cycle because of the spider shot. The rest of the escape was pretty clean as long as he manages to survive the top, which has killed people. So you don't want to see any deaths here, and he's good. He's out of there.
Yep, he gets his cutscene skip at 2019. Rufus coming up quickly on the last section of the escape himself. He's going to bash up off the Frankie, collect the 100 XP here. Still ongoing XP manipulation in this run, just trying to get the level ups at the times we want them. And he is going to come in with a 2040 cutscene skip, so it's a 21-second deficit. Whew.
Yeah, Rufus is playing really well, making, he's kind of shaken off. Like, it doesn't seem that early error to the Frankie walk is affecting him too much, because he's playing very well now, just not really making any mistakes, just kind of going through the run quickly. Well, Erasmus has some holes here and there that's allowing Rufus to catch up a bit, but still, it's going to come down to trick execution, because we're coming into the part of the run where there's a whole bunch of tricks coming back to back.
Something that's been bugging Rufus this entire run, I think, is his dash gliding, and he just missed another one trying to get through that ghost door there. Ooh, a little bit of a freeze there with his stream, but we're seeing he unfortunately missed the bash up to that projectile. But he is able to make it up to the stomp tree successfully. Hopefully his whatever internet issues are causing the frame drops there are only temporary, as Rasmus is coming into Drainless.
Yep, so he's just going to save while doing a stomp off the edge, and that's going to break this platform, even though you normally can't stomp underwater. Okay, he didn't like that one. I thought it was fine, but I don't have sound, so I can't quite tell, I suppose. If you do miss this, then you're going to be really, really sad, but that one looks clean, so he's going to be down there. It's not a hard trick, but if you save too late, then the backups are really, really painful, to say the least.
And another, just another few seconds of time loss for Erasmus that are going to help Rufus catch up and get back into this. And I mean, we're about to see the one thing that could easily make this an even race again. Erasmus is about to come to the Kuro cutscene. We're going to see if he's able to pull off the skip or the skip.
Yeah, if he misses it and Rufus gets it, they're going to be pretty much even, I think. About 17 seconds for this cutscene. So Erasmus is in position. That's a great position. He's gonna try it again.
Successful skip. He is trying again. It is technically faster overall if you miss the first attempt to do a second attempt. If you get the second attempt, you're 4 seconds faster than not doing it at all. Rufus is waiting for his shot. Rasmus got it. Rufus did not get it. He is not reloading. So that is going to reinforce that distance between them, as opposed to allowing Rufus a chance to get back in it. And Rasmus also goes for the health cell here, actually. So that kind of changes some of what we believed was the deficit, because Rufus, I guess, or Rasmus all along was planning to. Oh goodness!
Okay, was that intentional? I thought he was slipping.
That is intentional. Yes. Oh man, both of us freaked out, but yeah, that was an intentional strategy by Rasmus to get the 5th energy. Rufus doing the same thing to get the 5th energy cell, so they both wanted that. Rufus doing the stomp stall in midair to get back out, and he does succeed. So he is only seconds behind Rasmus right now. Good lord.
Alright, so they both pretty much finished powering up at this point. They've got 5 health and 5 energy each, which is as strong as any Ori is going to get in this all skills round. And soon they'll be picking up Charge Dash, which is going to let them go as far as they want. So Rasmus has got Charge Flame, Rufus not far behind. See, that explosion went off at 58, so we'll see on Rufus's screen when the thing blows up, and we'll know the difference. There are a little bit of a problem with the save anywhere.
Yeah, he's also going for the save before the tree strat, and this is very interesting. I don't think I've seen any controller runner go for this. This is the first time I've seen that. And it did cause him a little bit of trouble. Whenever you have that menu open, you're losing time. He's going for the dash glide. It's still giving him problems.
This is so rough once you miss the dash glide, because the camera pans up and you can't see Ori at all. You're just completely obscured by the abilities. But he gets on the well okay, and he gets the save off. So all that save anywhere it lets you do is this Charge Flame instead of stomping the wall. It just lets you have the energy for that.
Which, I mean, it saves time.
It does,
so that's
it does.
Nice.
I do it. I like it. But on controller, I don't know if I would.
Yeah, I mean, as a controller runner, I'm not sure it'd be worthwhile, but of course I do KBM for save anywheres anyway. Rasmus is making his way up the Valley of the Wind. Rufus is still not super far behind. He lost a little bit of time there, but I would put it around 15 seconds. Rasmus is about to come into where Fast Stompless is a thing. And looking at the stats here, it looks like Rasmus does not currently go for Fast Stompless, or at least as of his last races. And he isn't here. So this is potentially a very big time save for Rufus against Rasmus right here. Rufus has gotten this in both of his attempts so far in the tournament. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, basically, if he gets it, they're going to be put pretty much even. If he misses it, then it's going to be pretty catastrophic for him. Let's see.
That shot hit the ceiling.
It hit the roof. It hit the roof. He saw it too.
He did realize it did. Okay. So he's going to go for a second one. This is kind of negating some of the time save he could have had. That shot looks very high. I'm not 100% sure. He gets the fast movement back. He does the damage boost. Gets the cell. It was not a good shot, unfortunately. So he is going to have to head back up. And that actually loses him more time versus Rasmus instead of saving him. So unfortunately, not quite working out with that gamble for him here.
Yeah, that was barely too high. I was sketchy about that shot. I wasn't sure if it was going to work or not either, but now he's just going to have to go back up and stomp it. Note that he is at 2 health, so these birds will one-shot him, but he doesn't get hit, so that's good. And he'll be able to make a save down and get charge dash. I don't know if he's saved in Valley, so I'm not sure if he's going to go to the teleporter or not. Rasmus into Sorrow Bash now. He'll just be making a pit stop for this energy, and then we'll see how this goes. So this can be the great equalizer here, because this trick is very difficult. It's very easy to die on these one-shot kills. Well, they're not one-shot kill because they've got 5 health. 2-shot kill spikes.
Yeah, it looks like Rasmus is going for a very solid version with no damage boost off the spikes, and he got it first try, which he did in both of his preceding races. Rufus is coming up on it too. Rufus took 2 tries in his first race, but 1 try in his second race, so we're going to see if he's able to keep that consistency or if he's going to have a problem with it again. And for his sake, he's certainly going to hope not.
Yeah, so he has to get this first try to kind of keep the distance even. Rasmus has had a good Sorrow so far. He has a safety save down. He's going to do this bash to the crack because he wants to kindle his save. I kind of hate that bash to the crack myself, but it is faster.
Rufus taking the damage.
Health. That's 5 health for you.
But he still gets through. He is now at 1 health. This is a very scary section if you're only at 1 health. Rasmus going through his frog juggle. That looks to be going pretty smoothly. But Rufus is into Sorrow Pass, and he's going to make his safety save. So he's back at 3, and he should be feeling pretty good right about now. At Feather, the deficit was measured around 33 seconds, so not really getting the advantage that he needed from Fast Stompless, but Rufus still hanging in there.
Oh my gosh, he wants to rekindle the save, but the frog is saying, I'm going to shoot you. Did that go off?
Yeah, and I don't know if he realizes he can just get rid of the frog temporarily.
He's just going for it? I think he's going for it. The health on that frog sucks, though. Okay, he's getting it out of the way. Okay, good. I was going to say, if he's not going to double bash, then there's no way that frog's going to make it. But now the frog's back at full health. He's got his rekindle off. He'll be following along with Rasmus shortly. But I think Rasmus's Sorrow is a little bit better than Rufus's so far. As long as he doesn't die to the spikes on the way back down from Sunstone, he should be widening that lead a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like Rufus wasn't quite confident in his usage of that safety save. I'm not sure if he normally takes it or not. And as a result, he lost a fair bit of time there just compared to Rasmus cleanly and quickly getting it rekindled and then getting his frog going. Rufus also misses the rocket jump, but Rasmus takes a death going to charge jump, so kind of having these matching mistakes going back and forth, it's keeping this a really close race right now.
A little bit of a high five to the Sunstone shaft as one goes up, the other goes down. Rufus has got his level up, and he'll be going on to the Sunstone skip here. Well, Rasmus is about to pick up charge jump, the last use. What? You see where he's getting that cutscene? That's nuts. I didn't know you could get it down there.
I don't even know what exactly happened with Ori's position there, but that was pretty interesting.
He hit the upper ground and then he like charge dashed, and for whatever reason the charge dash took him right. And apparently the cutscene started on. That's a neat little thingy.
So Rasmus is making his way out of charge jump, which is easily one of the scariest sections of Sorrow Pass, just because of all those spikes. Rufus is making his way in, so another almost high five. They weren't quite on the same screen. But Rufus is looking all right here. He takes the damage, but that's the 5 health saving him there. And he is gonna be able to make it to charge jump, right?
Man,
yes,
5 health
okay.
has been so valuable in this race. That's exactly why you invest that 8 seconds to take it. If you're not, like, sure you're not going to get hit in Sorrow, then just take it, because it saves you way more time and it saves your life. And Rasmus, he skipped the cell on the way out of Sorrow, and he's going to be opting for a level up on the Misty Boss instead. He's taken 200 experience, so that's the route he's going to be going with. We'll see what Rufus opts for. I believe it's still up in the air which one he's going to take as he makes his way out of charge jump here with one death, but you know, that happens.
Currently, this.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Currently, the difference time-wise is around 50 seconds as of charge jump. Rasmus is coming into Misty, and he's just, you know, this is the part of the game that requires the most challenging movement, and you're seeing Rasmus kind of, this is where you see the difference between a runner that has a 39 and a runner that has a 37 possibly, is you would bet that Rufus is going to be a little more confident in his movement here, and you're already seeing that. Like, Rufus is just, this first screen, he just is going through. He knows exactly what he's doing here. He does take damage from that projectile. He's at 1 health now. A little bit scary.
I have to say I like from Rufus that he didn't take his safety save right at the start of Misty, even though he was at 1 health. He waited until he was at the pedestal for Atsu's torch before he did it, which is, you know, you're not going to take 1 damage on the way in. It's like nearly impossible. So he got his save in a bit of better position. So he says, like, if I do die, I won't go back quite as far, but it's still really spooky going through Misty with 1 health. He doesn't want to make a save because he doesn't want to lose his last energy for charge dashing, but he could collect an extra energy here. We'll see what he does. He's going to save and take extra energy. I like that decision.
Indeed, and that's the sort of, you know, clever play that you really want to see in a tournament type of situation. He unfortunately just burned his last energy there, but it's not that huge of a deal. But in a tournament type situation, you really want to see that sort of clever thinking of, you know, knowing what options are available to you and taking them when appropriate. So Rufus coming in to climb here. Rasmus is making his way through the back half of Misty, very consistently taking a little damage from the spikes there, but he's got 5 health, so he survives, and he's probably going to be able to make it across the spike pit here, and before he even does, he makes a safety save. So that's going to make it harder for Rufus to be able to catch up if Rasmus is able to consistently get through some of these areas and get his safety saves down, because then even if he dies, the cost is minimized.
Oh, rough dust from Rufus there right before the 3rd key, so he's back to climb, but he's going fast through these sections. Like, he can tear through Misty here, but we're running out of run at this point. Rasmus has just kind of kept this lead through consistent play the entire time, and Rufus, like, he's been playing fast, but then he's also been taking some bad deaths here and there, so stomp canceling through, like, he's trying to just blaze through this Misty, and I like it, but I hope he saves soon, because he is at 2 health, and this next part has a lot of spikes that are scary. Rasmus coming into the mini-boss now.
He actually did not save before this, that I saw.
Yeah, he didn't. His save is still on climb, so if this... that explosion was so close.
Oh, goodness, the Frankie.
Boss. Frankie got some distance into that boss fight. So he takes his level there. Rufus makes it to the 4th key without incident, and now he's going to save. There we go.
There it
so
is.
Now he's pretty safe. He won't lose too much time on a death, and he has enough health to take a hit from the slime. Rasmus on his way out of Misty. He dropped an energy because of a weird ramp on a charge dash, but I think he has enough. Wow, that was one heck of a bash.
Indeed, he's having a little bit of, you know, a few bash glides or trash bashes here and there, but otherwise his movement was just, it was solid. It got him where he needed to go. Looks like he's still basically on full energy and he's not dumping it, so he probably won't have to. Oh, he does take a save here. Okay. Shows what I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much he had left, because he did miss some cancels here and there. Rufus improvising that mini-boss fight, but he gets the job done, and he's going to go back and grab this last energy. Or the energy is going to rocket off into the out-of-bounds world, and he's not going to get it. But that just means, I mean, he has 2. That's enough to get out of Misty pretty comfortably, and then he'll probably just take a save on the Spirit Well. He's even going to make a save. Like, he says, okay, I'm just going to cancel all my charge dashes. I only need 1 energy, and I will just save when I get there. I like that decision as well, because there are still spikes that can kill you when you're at 3 health.
So yeah, as you mentioned, not a lot of runway left here. At climb, the deficit was 52 seconds, and that was before Rufus died, so it could be even worse for him right now. However, it's actually only around a minute from this teleporter to get 2 light bursts, so at least, you know, that's my benchmark for it. So if Rufus is able to have a solid endgame, he could still be able to capitalize on some mistake by Rasmus, because, you know, Rasmus might not be as confident this section of the game.
Yeah, it's going to really have to come down to a mistake from Rasmus, though. Like, if he just plays as he has been...
Look at these strats that Rufus is bringing here, though, dude.
Oh
he's going to carry the save anywhere on controller all the way to the end of Light Burst here, which is
This
absolutely
madness.
crazy.
He caught the edge. I don't think he can get the Yoka cycle. He has
There's
to
no
realize
possible
it.
way. He needs to pass. He
boy.
managed to barely dodge the laser. He's going to be able to jump up here and gets his dash glide and his save off. Oh my goodness. Rufus high-fiving with Rasmus, who is coming out of the light grenade tree right now. So that is actually a very, very narrow deficit right now for Rufus.
Yeah, I think Rasmus will probably place a save before the boulder escape, so he won't be taking a sudden death that'll even him up. Yeah, there it is. So he still has his lead. At this point, like a death in Horu Fields, door warp, and the escape are all that's really left that could possibly trip Rasmus up, but I don't think he's going to,
well,
let this gap open up.
Oh goodness!
Boy, Rufus! That save was so good.
Oh wow!
No,
He is
no
really
save before
pulling
the
out all
boulder
the
escape.
stops.
This is nuts. Holy crap. I will really wonder. I should honestly ask people before the races, are you watching the other guy's stream? Because this kind of play is kind of saying to me, like, he knows he's behind, and he's just like, I'm going to go fast. I'm going to do crazy stuff.
I agree. There's a decent chance he's watching Rasmus right now, and he is very close behind. He is within 30 or 40 seconds right now. And another point to bring up that might be interesting to think about is Rasmus has gone for fish strats in both of his previous races. He has failed it 3 times. Are we going to see that possibly happen here as Rufus is closing the gap even more, coming to the Horu door? Little bit of trouble there, but he's going to be able to make it to the Horu door very soon. Are we going to see door warp be the difference maker here?
We're almost at the point where they're going to be in consecutive door warps. If Rasmus doesn't get this first try, then they're going to be trying to door warp together, but he does get
But
the
he
first try.
does!
And now
Oh
it's
my
just
goodness.
the escape for Rasmus. Rufus has to get a first try door warp here if he wants any shot of it, and Rasmus, if he just finishes this escape out without a death, there's no way Rufus can catch up.
Here comes Rufus's attempt. He does not get it first try. Is he going to get it second try? Is it going to take him more? What are we going to see here? Another miss.
Oh no.
This is a worst case scenario for Rufus right now.
Third try. No! He's trying to time it because he was still in Horu there. If you mash, you always go outside. This is really rough. This is a lot of door warp deaths. Rasmus, will he go for fish strats? If he doesn't, he's basically got it in the bag. There's no way you die. Well, okay, that's a lie, but you probably won't
Rufus
die. If you
gets
don't
it
go for fish
finally.
strats.
But yeah, his deficit is now on the order of 40 to 50 seconds because of all those door warp misses. So he has to count on Rasmus to die here. Rasmus has 5 HP. He can even fall in the fire and still survive. We're coming up to the last shaft. We're going to see if he's going to go for fish strats. I don't know if he's watching his opponent. He is not going for it. As long as he doesn't make any serious
He spawned
mistakes.
Kuro. Okay, he's fine though. He's in the safe area.
Indeed.
And then
He is going
that's gonna be it. Unless he
to
finishes
climb to
it fast.
victory.
Nope, he's got it.
Yep. So Rufus is going to finish up, but congratulations to Rasmus on what could be described as an upset, but at the same time, like given the level, goodness, as Rufus is trying to give us all heart attacks here. Given the level of play he just showed us, I don't know that you can call this an upset necessarily.
Rufus is also going to opt to just finish it out safely. He's going to skip fish strats, and he's going to just charge jump up at the top. Keeping it close, but he could never close the deficit from the very beginning. He got closer, and then further, and then closer, and then further, but Rasmus just played a very nice game, and manages to take the win, which throws this group completely into disarray.
Indeed, and as we get those final times, I'll start getting the updates on how the bracket's going to be affected, but spoilers, the bracket is going to be affected. But yeah, I mean, as you said, like, Rasmus played to his strats from start to finish. He had 1 death in Blackroot Burrows, and otherwise, he just went all the way right from the start and did exactly what he needed to do here. So a fantastic job by Rasmus, really just coming out and showing us an extremely impressive race with the 41:01.99.
Yeah, that was a nice race for sure. I have to say though, I'm very impressed with how Rufus played in that race, particularly in the later parts. That was a lot of stomp cancels, a lot of charge dashes, like especially like think of leaving Blackroot when he stomped like right above the laser and then charge dashed to the slime to save himself. Just stuff like that was so cool to see. and I really liked how he played. And without that death to the Froggy Walk, he may have very well won this race, but he just couldn't. Those early game mistakes cost so much time compared to like later game ones when you have a lot of saves. So he just couldn't overcome that deficit. But very nicely played nonetheless.
Indeed. And as mentioned, this will shake up the bracket situation a little bit. And let's talk about that real quick. Rufus's time was unfortunately not quite good enough to, although it was fairly solid, but it was not quite good enough to get his average better than Odeon's, which means that by virtue of the fact that they are all tied 1 and 2, Odeon is actually going to take second place in this group, and Rufus is going to fall back down to third. It looks like, based on averages, Odie will still be 18th place, which the position that Rufus currently holds, which means he will now face off against me in the round of 32. Rufus, with an average time of, looks like 41.50 in his 3 races, he is going to slip to 25th place. And I believe... math sometimes fails me, but I believe that's going to put him against Raziel in the round of 32, if I'm not mistaken here. Let me double check that. Yes. So he will be going against Raziel. Most likely, I believe there's not much shifting that can happen left with respect to that. But that'll be a surprising turn of events. Rasmus, meanwhile, he stays in the position that he already was in. His time was very solid, but unfortunately, due to his first race in the tournament being a 54.09, he was not able to overcome that and improve his average enough. So unfortunately, that drags him down. He'll stay in 33rd place, and he will face Fent in the pre-elimination stage, as it were.
Yeah, I would like to just point out that you've got to be scared of Rasmus in the pre-elimination round, because if you discount that first race, which was a result of him, just learning the game again for the tournament and not having really fully knocked all the rust off, he would be second in this group if you just take the average from his last 2 races. So, his seeding may be lower, but it's just that one race stopping him from having a second seeding as the 4th seed. So he's going to be a scary opponent to face right off the bat.
Indeed. I'll be very interested to see the results of that match. I know that the pre-elimination round is going to feature a fair number of matchups between runners who, even though they're in the, they all finished 4th in their groups, and, in almost all cases are 0 and 3. Rasmus being the lone exception at 1 and 2 as a 4th seed. They still all have shown us something over the course of the tournament. They all have shown that it is very possible for them to put on a real performance for us. So I'm really looking forward to those matches in particular, as well as, of course, the rest of the bracket stage.
Yeah, I really like to see Rasmus taking a win, even though the win doesn't really help his standing all that much, But, Odie is much happier with this result, but Rasmus just playing really well. It's really, really awesome.
Meanwhile, definitely to echo what you said just a little bit ago, shout outs to Rufus for, in this loss, being behind basically the entire time after Blackroot Burrows, and just bringing, and really those mistakes on Frankie Walk, that was a lot of time loss, and to maintain the mental composure and, kind of steady hand that it takes to be able to get all the way through the rest of the run with minimal mistakes. Fast stompless miss, I don't really consider that as much a mistake of nerves or anything as it is just a hard trick. But really just making it through, playing extremely solid, and really making Rasmus work for that victory.
Yeah, that's for sure. I know personally when I took a death early on in this tournament, I just completely fell apart for my entire run, so I have to admire the mental fortitude of Rufus in this one.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that as well.
How about that?
Yeah. We're all laughing because Ori is impossible.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so that is going to do it for this race tonight. We do have a couple more races left in the group stage. Not that many. So sadly, we are coming to a close here. we have tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to see Elo Jiminy going up against Kyrfel in the final match of the Hollow Grove group. That is my group. And that will determine the first, second, and third place finishers in that group. Up until now, we've been projecting that Elo Jiminy will take first in that group, and that Kyrfel will take third due to Elo defeating Kyrfel, and then I will take second. But given the fact that in the past, 2 days, we've had 3 races all, totally change the landscape of the bracket, I actually don't know what to expect from that race now.
Yeah, it's a good thing we weren't printing out brackets and posting them around town, because we would have had to issue a recall.
Oh, goodness. And then we are wrapping up the group stage of the tournament Saturday afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I mean, it might not technically be afternoon in Eastern Time, but it is here, dang it. And that will be between Epic Cat and Mr. Randomson, the final match of the group stage and the final match of their group, which actually I believe should have no bearing on the finishing situation of that group, except I am blatantly lying. It does have a possibility of affecting the group standings there. So Roos will, I'm sure, be watching that match with bated breath to see if Random is able to upset Epic Cat.
Anything can happen in Ori. Now, I don't recall if you mentioned it, but both of those final matches, I think, will be on the Speedruns live channel, because Speed Gaming is going to be taken up with SNES Superstars for the next full week.
Indeed. That is correct. So we will be seeing you all over on the Speedruns live channel for those 2 races. And then the tournament is going to have a week off. After the group stage finishes, we will kick back, make sure that we've got the bracket all set up. We'll figure out some organizational details, and all of y'all should watch the SNES Superstars marathon during that week, because I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. A ton of good stuff in that marathon. But then come on back the week after that to the Speed Gaming channel, because we're going to have the bracket stage exclusively on here, asterisk, availability pending. And it's going to be amazing. We have a lot of absolutely incredible matchups coming to you.
Yeah, definitely look forward to that stuff. Well, I think that'll do it for us for tonight.
Indeed.
Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for commentating with me, Willigen. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
As always.
Yep, it was a pleasure, Sigma. Y'all have a good night, and make sure to keep watching the tournament.
Peace.